I'm going crazy, sitting on that train, and I don't think I'm ever coming home. Don't think I'm lazy, 'cause I'm going crazy. Yes, I'm going crazy.
All right, let's go to my first guest. I'm very excited, always excited to talk. I was drinking that out of the can. That's so unrefined. Let me just pour this first. It's why I got these IPA glasses. That's a horrible pour. It's all foam. While that simmers down, let's go to our first guest, Erik Davis, managing editor at Fandango. Erik,
what's up?
How are you?
Good. I have a little rum and diet something, so I'll cheers to you.
Well, cheers to you, brother.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too. Talk about your job and what you do for a living. It's really hard to comprehend sometimes because as a movie fan, I'm like, oh my God, that's the job of a lifetime. So talk about what you do.
Yeah, in simple terms, I watch a lot of movies. I get paid to watch movies, wow. Which sounds awesome. But there's a lot actually that I do. And my job is sort of requires me to be very versatile and to jump into all kinds of different situations. For example, I was just on Twitter Spaces, which is like Twitter's new audio only kind of like similar to Clubhouse, and I know Facebook is developing one as well. Sort of these audio only rooms where you can just listen to a panel. So I just hosted a 90-minute panel on episode 5 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is not a movie, it's a TV show, but it is Marvel Studios. And so I did some of that. But then I'm also a managing editor for Fandango, and so I kind of help steer our editorial voice all the way through, all across our social platforms and across YouTube. I help set up all of the interviews that we do, and I work with the studios very closely to, when it comes to talent and wanting to do interviews with stars and what that interview is going to be. If we want to debut like a clip or a trailer, I kind of work with the studios to do that. And then I also go on the radio and I go on TV to talk about all of the movies that are coming out. And I'm on Twitter all the time. Yeah, Twitter is almost like another job for me because it's another outlet for me to just kind of discuss movies with people and talking a lot about the summer slate now. And so, I just do a lot of different things.
So there's a lot to your job, but it's not the worst job in the world.
No, I love it. I mean, if like 12-year-old me was having a conversation right now with me, they'd be like, you did it, man. Like, this good. That's where I feel like I'd want to be.
As a fanboy myself, it's the ultimate. And I think that's partly why I'm in the entertainment arena with working in radio and then doing this thing on Friday night. I just love talking to movies. And this show on Friday night has really turned into kind of a discussion about movies. I talked to a lot of filmmakers, and it's been so nice. And you might run into this. It's tough getting the actors, but you can easily get a filmmaker to come on and talk about their film. They're very excited to talk about their films.
Yeah, I always tell people, because they're always like, who's the biggest celebrity you met, or who's the best interview? And I'll entertain that, and we'll talk about some of those celebrities. But for me, it's the filmmakers. Like, that's always what I nerd out about. Those are always the conversations that I want to have. Like, if they're like, Erik, there's like an hour conversation at with this director, would you want to moderate it? I'm like, hell yeah. Like that's the kind of stuff that I like, because an actor or an actress in a film can only take the conversation so far, right? But the filmmaker is really involved in every aspect of that production from the minute it begins. And so I always find that you get a much richer conversation. And also, actors and actresses don't know what they can say, what they can't say. Can I spoil this? Can I say that? And a filmmaker sort of feels like they have more freedom to talk openly about the entirety of a production. Yeah. And I always enjoy those conversations.
If you can get a hold of a B-list celebrity or a celebrity from yesterday, those are good conversations too. I had Keith Coogan on a couple weeks ago, and Well, I can say that he was drunk because he was drinking from a bottle of Jack Daniels through the whole interview. It was something. Oh my God. But those are fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a real person. They open themselves up. But somebody like, as much as I'd love to talk to Ben Affleck, I don't know how much you'd get out of a guy like that.
Yeah, Ben Affleck actually of late has been a bit more open. He was going through his struggles with alcohol addiction and what have you. So he's actually been a lot more open. This last round of press that he was doing for The Way Back, that basketball movie that he did, he was having some pretty open, honest conversation. So I think it depends on when you catch somebody. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these young actors coming up, I love talking to them. My kids are always like, did you talk to the kid from Stranger Things? Or did you talk to, they're like that. They just want me to talk to whoever's got the biggest TikTok following right now. But the veteran, it always feels like they've been there, they've done it, and they have the stories to tell. The younger kids right now, I think they're scared because they don't know how much they're allowed to say and what they can say. And they have an entire career in front of them and they don't want to jeopardize any aspect of that. And so the veteran, though, especially if you get a veteran who's been drinking a little bit. I remember I did like a 40-minute conversation once with Kurt Russell for one of his movies at like the Toronto Film Festival. And he had a cold and he was sick and he didn't want to do interviews all day. But like we had such an awesome, honest conversation in that setting. And so yeah, I mean, those veterans, they don't care anymore. They'll tell you the stories and they'll go at it. And that's always a fun time.
Yeah. From what I understand about him, you could walk up to him at a restaurant, end up best friends by the end of the night. Yeah.
Yeah. Kurt Russell. Yeah. Like when people say like, give me your best, the best people, like the coolest celebrities. I would say Kurt Russell's up there. Steve Carell is awesome. Awesome dude. Yep. Those are the kinds of guys, those veterans who've been through every aspect of this industry. And they're just like, are you cool? Cool. I'm cool. Let's just be cool with each other and talk like normal people. That's always good.
Have you seen Eat Wheaties yet?
No, I have not.
Tony Hale's in it, all-star cast. People you would recognize from sitcoms. Great cast. I can't wait to talk to Scott. What have you seen recently? What's good? What should we be looking out for?
Well, after this, I'm going to watch that new Mortal Kombat movie, and so I'm going to probably have a couple more of these drinks. Then I'm going to watch the Mortal Kombat movie. I'm actually looking forward to that. I was saving it for tonight. So I'm going to see that. The Godzilla versus Kong movie I saw, which I dug. I think that movie arrived at a perfect time when people we haven't gotten these big movies, they just haven't been around because everything's been postponed. And so, that movie sort of, I think, arrived at a time when people were kind of getting vaccinated, climbing back out of this thing, going back to theaters. And it was just like the perfect movie theater blockbuster kind of entertainment that people were waiting for and had been itching for. So I watched that. I like that. I've enjoyed that. There's a crazy vampire movie out this week called Jacob's Wife that I like, starring Barbara Crampton, who's a horror veteran. And speaking of veterans, she's a legend, I think, and she's really awesome, good people. So I would promote that film. I like that film. But I'm watching some smaller stuff. Obviously, the Oscars are a week from Sunday, so I've been sort of revisiting some of those films and the Best Picture nominees. Many of them are now available. You can watch them at home. So I've been revisiting some of that stuff and really kind of getting ready for summer, watching a couple of those May movies, watching some of those June movies. I'm finally allowed to talk about In the Heights, which I loved.
I saw your piece about that. You loved that movie, didn't you?
I love that movie. I'm a born and raised New Yorker, and so whenever it's a New York movie, I always kind of lean in a bit more and pay more attention because it's very near and dear to my heart. And New York City is a city of neighborhoods, and the neighborhood movies are always my favorite. And In the Heights is just one of the best New York City neighborhood movies I think that's ever been made. And I love it. I think the music's fantastic. I think the themes in it are fantastic. And I think it really honors a part of New York City that has not been featured in as many big movies as it probably should have previously. So really excited about that film. I think it's going to be one of the bigger crowd pleasers that we see come out this summer.
Have you been going to the theater, the actual theater, to watch movies? Or like something like Godzilla and Kong I watched at home, probably obviously better on the big screen. Did you see that at the theater?
I did. I'm vaxxed now, man. I'm full vaxxed. I'm on the double shot. I'm 2 weeks past. I'm all vaxxed up. So I'm ready. I'm ready and to go and do anything. So yeah, I watched Godzilla vs. Kong first at home. And then I went and my son had a birthday party and we did a birthday party at a theater. You can rent out theaters, actually. Yeah. It's not as expensive, I think, as people think. So we rented out a theater, watched Godzilla vs. Kong. And it's hard when you get screening links for a year and you don't have to like travel in to see a movie. Yeah. So I'm a bit like, you could keep sending me the links, but with these big movies coming out soon, I'm definitely going to go see them on the big screen. And I'll be back in theaters. And, I think I feel a sense of responsibility, working for Fandango and wanting to make sure that I'm vaccinated and I can be back in theaters so I can tell people what that experience is like and if they have any questions. And so, that means a lot to me. And so I'm going to make sure I do that.
I went a couple weeks ago to see Long Weekend, Steve Bastiglione. It's a small flick. Yeah. But it was nice to be in the theater, but it was a ghost town. I felt like I was actually in like a zombie movie, hiding out in a movie theater. It was an AMC. It was kind of run down. One of the letters was broken. And it was kind of an odd experience after a year. And the last movie I saw was The Last Jedi. The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, yeah.
The last one, yeah.
Yeah,
so that was December of 2019.
Yeah.
Geez. Yeah, so it's been some time. But I always love, there was a time where I was going once a week, so I do miss that experience. Do you think we'll get back to, and I think theaters were already having a hard time before the pandemic, and this just made it worse. Do you think we'll get back to that time where we're going to the theater and we don't want that experience at home? I'm kind of liking the experience at home, to be honest.
I do. I think we're going to get back to a time when, and we'll get a taste of it this summer, and then I think we'll really get a much larger taste of it this fall. I sort of, from Memorial Day on, I kind of call the rest of this year an endless summer.
Yeah.
Because even into the fall, because so many of these big movies have been postponed, and they're sort of sitting alongside the movies that were already coming out in 2021, and so. You're really going to get from the end of May through the end of the year, it's going to feel like an endless summer. It's going to feel like there's a big movie coming out every week. Yeah. And it's going to feel like it felt before the pandemic. And so that's really when we can kind of get a sense of, okay, how are we kind of receiving this experience back into our lives? I've been seeing that a lot of people are itching to get out. They want to get out of the house. They want to return to some of these things that they haven't done in over a year. They want to go to a concert. They want to go to a baseball game. They want to go to a movie. They want to go to a restaurant. I know people that haven't even, I think where you are and where I am, it has been a bit different in terms of how the virus has been received. And in New York, it's been taken very seriously. And I have neighbors that haven't gone out to a restaurant in over a year. And so I think there's a lot of people that you don't realize haven't done anything. Even if you are in a state where it's been a bit more open than it has been elsewhere, and you've gone to the restaurants and you've gone this, understand that there are a lot of people in this country that have not done any of that for over a year. Yeah. And so I think there is a lot of pent up energy to experience things outside of the house again. That being said, I think watching movies and TV shows at home is not going to go away. If anything, you're going to get more content. Netflix is just going to get bigger, and your Amazons and your Apples and your HBO Maxes. That's not Disney Plus. That's all staying, and that's not going anywhere. Yeah. You may see movies arrive at home sooner than they used to arrive at home. And then it'll be your decision. There'll be movies that you say, I have to go watch this in the theater. And there'll be movies that you say, you know what, I'm going to wait 2 months and and rent this at home. And I think that people are going to appreciate having that option. And I would always say, you know, support your local art community, support your local theaters, because I think that if there's anything this pandemic taught us, it's that when we remove these pastimes out of our lives, you know, we really miss them. And we realize that we did take them for granted. And so I think in order for it to continue being a part of your life, you know, support your local community and support the people that are running the movie theaters in your community.
All right, one last question, and we were talking about movies that have been shelved for quite some time. Two of them I can think of offhand: Maverick and Ghostbusters Afterlife. I think we've been watching trailers for those for at least 3 or 4 years now. What it feels like that long. It's been some time since Maverick was. I mean, I think Maverick was supposed to be out in the summer last year.
It was supposed to be out last summer. Yeah, I think it was like the 4th of July film last summer, and then Ghostbusters was also July of last summer, I believe.
Have you seen those yet? I know they're just sitting there. Do they allow you to watch those movies?
No.
No.
Not yet. I was getting close to Top Gun Maverick when it was coming out on July 2nd. I was getting close to like a potential screening in May, but then that movie just got moved to November. So I don't know when I'm going to be watching it. But yeah, I mean, the good news is that you get both of those a couple of weeks apart, really, in November. Yeah. So they're both still coming out. And, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, that's been postponed for too long. I'm not looking forward to it anymore. And it's like the movie still exists. And we're looking forward to it at some point in time.
Same movie.
It's the same movie. So, you know, I think that, you know, I post this release schedule. You know, I'm constantly updating the release schedule and posting it on Twitter. And this a couple of days ago, I posted it and it went viral for the first time. I think a lot of people were like, oh my God, like all of these movies, you know, people are starting to think about going to the movie theaters again. And now here's this schedule of all the movies coming out. And all of a sudden there's this awakening in culture of people being like, oh my God, I'm going to go back and look at everything that's coming out. So I think that there is going to be this bit of awakening that happens. And it's going to turn more positive, I feel, and really look for Memorial Day forward is what I'm really looking forward to. And I'm hoping to get back into the theater again on a regular basis and see some cool stuff.
Good. Well, when summer hits, let's talk again.
Yeah.
Once we're sure that these movies will be opening when they say they're going to be opening, we'll talk again. Now, where can people find your stuff, your interviews, your writings, all that stuff? Where is there a fandango.com/Erik Davis?
I mean, you know, follow me on Twitter at Erik with a K Davis. You know, a lot of what I do on everything I do, I put on Twitter. So follow me there. You can follow me on Instagram at This Is Erik Davis. Some stuff finds its way over there as well. And then just, you know, go to Fandango and use Fandango. We also own Vudu now. So if you buy or rent movies at home through Vudu, know that it's part of the Fandango family. Rotten Tomatoes is also part of our family too. I just hosted a conversation for Rotten Tomatoes. So, you know, follow all of us and you'll see our stuff come up.
All right, brother. Great to talk to you again.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers to you.
Take care.
Take care, man.